Hello everybody and welcome to episode 3 of Lansblackbag. Here today, it's a game. Well, a game series, if you will. You see, one of the reasons that I and so many other people bought the PS3 is a nice little series called Uncharted. And Uncharted 2, conversely. Uncharted is probably one of the greatest technical accomplishments in video game history so far. Granted, the 3DS probably will surpass it, but everybody that I've talked to who hasn't actually played the game, they just think that it's sort of just climbing around and shooting stuff, but you have to actually experience the game and see for yourself what exactly makes it so special. And I think the crowning achievement is in Uncharted 2. Let's see, I'm going to go into the physics of video games right now and how they've always been until Uncharted 2 came along. I think Uncharted 1 did a little bit of it. I haven't played that much of it yet, but one of the reasons that I was so excited about the PS3 was the Uncharted 2 promo that happened in January of 2009, I believe it was. Maybe it was 2008, I don't remember. But one of the things that really impressed me with that game was the fact that I could see this even from the game trailer that was going on. Whenever you have, like, traditionally a train level, I mean, you think about a train level or some level where you're trying to dash out of something and it's a cinematic little feel to it. What actually is happening is the background is moving. The plane that you're standing on is still stationary. Uncharted 2, and maybe Uncharted 1 as well, introduced the fact that the plane that you are on is moving as well as you, independently. So, for example, there's a scene at the beginning of this game where the hero, Nathan Drake, is running out of a train that's hanging off a cliff. He's running and trying to get to the car that's on top of the cliff. And when you're running and you're feeling that it's a little different. It's not as smooth as, you know, a game where it's just the background moving and you're on a stationary plane. You can feel some tug and it doesn't feel natural. Well, it does feel natural, that's the thing. It doesn't feel as, you know, textbook as it does in video games. And there is a level midway through the game that you are on a moving train. The cars are moving independently from the background. And it's very hard to aim with. And just from this technical standpoint alone, I mean, it may not sound like a lot, but this is one of the greatest achievements that gaming has needed for a long time. There have been train levels in the past in any kind of genre you can imagine, FPS, you name it. And Naughty Dog was the first company, I believe, that perfected it. Now, for those of you who need a little history lesson, Naughty Dog was the company behind the Crash Bandicoot series, one of Sony's highlights back in the PS1 days. I'm going to go into more of the story aspect of Uncharted now. There's a slogan on the back of this box that just describes it as clean as day. One ordinary man, one extraordinary adventure. Nathan Drake is one of the most likable video game characters that I can ever imagine in recent history. I mean, you have all these RPG stereotypes, these Gary Stews, these Mary Sues, who are obviously catered to and given a lot of liberties are taken with the supporting cast for the main character in a lot of these games, and there's just not a lot of depth to him. Nathan Drake is no extraordinary man. He's just the same as you and me, and he's thrust into this situation. Granted, I doubt you and me could monkey climb around half the world like this man does. But Uncharted, it's not even a game that a genre that I like or I enjoy. It's a run and gun. It's a kind of a platformer. It's kind of climbing. It's not even a genre that I would ever consider myself a fan of, but Uncharted redefined it so much that I can only call it a genre on its own. It is so far and ahead of any modern day platformer or modern day puzzle solver or modern day action game. And everything's just, you know, you think of Halo, you think of Gears of War, there was never any revolution with those games. And I know a lot of people like to pick on those games. They're okay, but when you look at actual evolution and expansion towards what is inevitably going to become virtual reality, everybody's going to have an avatar and like some kind of an MMORPG, and they're going to be running around doing all the stuff themselves using their brain. I think Uncharted is a step in the right direction for the video game series. It's a step that it's certainly needed, both from a cinematic standpoint, because it is more portrayed like a movie, like an action movie, than even the Metal Gear Solid series. I mean, there's a lot of cutscenes, but they integrate so well with the actual gameplay. Not in the way that it has all those reaction commands that Resident Evil 4 made popular and all that stuff. You will go from cutscene to gameplay almost seamlessly. And that's something to be said for Uncharted. It's probably the reason why I think the PS3 has the most potential. I think it really broke a lot of ground, and it really shows that Naughty Dog, and consequently any company that gives the PS3 the time that it needs, I think it's the serious choice for the next generation, for any serious gamer. I'm going to ignore the red ring, I'm going to ignore the shovelware on the Wii, I'm going to focus on the good stuff. And the good stuff that I have seen from the Uncharted series, I am desperately waiting for Uncharted 3. They've confirmed it. They haven't even made a trailer yet. I'm already salivating at the prospect. But what's next? Uncharted focused more of like a rainforest, savanna type atmosphere. Uncharted 2 is focused on sort of a Himalayan, snowy mountain type atmosphere. What's next? The desert? Space? Nathan Drake in space. That's an amusing concept. Anyways, if you have a PS3 and you don't own either of these games, why did you buy this system in the first place? Because the only real true evolution that has happened in the past 5 or 10 years of gaming is right here. From a technical standpoint, from a story standpoint, from a presentation standpoint, the voice acting, oh my god, that's fantastic too. I didn't even touch on that. The soundtrack is amazing. It's like a movie orchestral score. It's like Indiana Jones, but if Indiana Jones was an everyman. You and me. If you or I were Indiana Jones, that's a different can of worms that really shouldn't be opened up. But if the average American man who's guilty for everything that an American man is guilty of were thrust into a situation of Tomb Raider or Indiana Jones, that's Uncharted. And it is probably the pinnacle of video game technology right now. The 3DS is going to take that one step further, but we'll see how we look in about 3 or 4 years when Uncharted 4 is out. Let's see what that brings to the table. Anyways, have a good day, everybody.